Masked men with cudgels confronted police and soldiers on the Crumlin Road in Belfast this afternoon. It followed a row at Crumlin Road Courthouse between rival Loyalist and Republican factions attending a court case of a man accused of attempting to murder leading Loyalist Johnny Adair. Police say at one stage a petrol bomb was thrown and a baton round fired.
3 men, hooded and with dust masks and cudgels, confront police on the Crumlin Road. Nearby, a van which had been hijacked is overturned and set alight at the rear of Crumlin Road Courthouse. At the front of the court, emotions run high, with a crowd of women haranguing police and soldiers. The trouble flared between rival factions attending the trial of an Ardoyne man accused of the attempted murder of leading loyalist Johnny Adair. 40 loyalists allegedly charged supporters of the 23-year-old defendant, Stephen Larkin. Police, with batons drawn, eventually separated the two sides, and the loyalists were ejected onto the street, where bottles were thrown at police. When Larkin's trial finally adjourned this afternoon, more trouble erupted, this time from a group of women who began cursing the defendant's supporters. They too were ejected from the court, where they blocked traffic on the Crumlin Road. This was when the masked men appeared. At one stage, police say a petrol bomb was thrown and a baton round was fired. It was only a short time before police and army reinforcements arrived and dispersed the crowd. Throughout the disturbance, the supporters of Stephen Larkin remained in the court. They were later bussed away. The trial judge is tomorrow to rule on a defence application that the charges against him be dismissed.
Security in the Irish Republic is to be increased in the wake of yesterday's UVF bomb on the Belfast to Dublin train. Senior Garda officers were summoned to the Department of Justice this morning to assess the Loyalist threat and revise plans to counter it. One woman was slightly injured in yesterday's blast when only the detonator went off. Security sources say that had the entire 4.5-pound bomb exploded, it would have caused carnage on the train.
The Irish Justice Minister Moira Geoghegan-Quinn was resolute when she emerged from her meeting with the top echelons of the Gardaí.
It was a very lengthy meeting. We discussed all aspects of security with particular reference to the incident at Connolly Station yesterday and the implications of that. We had a full threat assessment from the Commissioner, who had in the meantime had the opportunity of discussing matters with the Chief Constable of the RUC. And we talked about the special security arrangements that have been put in place since the ceasefire was declared and what alterations might be made to those security arrangements in the light of yesterday's events.
She declined to say exactly how security would be tightened, but it's understood a package of measures have been agreed. These include the use of spotter planes for surveillance, extra security along the border, and closer checks on cross-border rail traffic. Yesterday's bomb in Connolly Station exposed the problems the Gardaí face. They had known about the heightened loyalist threat for more than a week, but with any number of targets available to the terrorists, they were virtually powerless to stop them. And with loyalist politicians predicting more attacks in the south, a test of the Gardaí's new measures could be only days away. There are fears that loyalist terrorists might use the cover of fans travelling to Sunday's All-Ireland final to plant further devices. The UVF said the Connolly Station bomb was meant to show the Irish government that they couldn't be coerced into united Ireland. Mrs Geoghegan-Quinn had an angry response.
They mustn't have read the Downing Street Declaration, and they mustn't have been listening to what the Taoiseach has been saying publicly. And how many times does the Taoiseach have to say publicly that there is no coercion, there is no forcing of anybody into anything? What we're talking about is sitting down around the table, that any decisions that will be made in relation to this island of ours, north and south together, will be made by consent and freely, by consent of the majority of the people. And that's what we've been saying all along. And nothing that happens from a loyalist paramilitary or otherwise is going to deviate this government, or indeed the British government, from coming around the conference table and going ahead very quickly with the democratic political process.
And she appealed to unionist politicians to help bring an end to loyalist violence.
I said yesterday, and I repeat today, that I think there is a huge onus of responsibility on unionist politicians to encourage, cajole, in every way possible, loyalist paramilitaries to lay down their arms so that everybody can get around the conference table and join in the democratic political process.